Hey guys, thank you for joining us again at the Blue Collar Connection. Today we are sitting with Lindsay and Brooke of DRYmedic of Lakewood Ranch. We're going to go over what they do and learn a bit about their business and how they will be able to help you in the event that you have roof leaks, plumbing leaks, any kind of water damage, mold issues, anything like that. So, before we get into all that stuff and really get into what you guys do, we're gonna do like a little icebreaker session.
Okay.
So first off, how long have you guys been in Bradenton, Sarasota?
5 years for me.
5 years?
And
What am I? I think I'm in my 4th year.
4th year.
3rd or 4th year. I don't even
Yep.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
we're veterans
From
now.
from Florida originally or no?
Originally from Southern California. And then both of us went to college in Kentucky. And then prior to this, I was in Dallas and she stayed in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your favorite local restaurant?
Oh.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, doesn't matter. Just your favorite local restaurant.
I'm a big fan of Owen's Fish Camp.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
That's it.
Owens.
Owens?
I thought you were gonna say Peachy's because it doesn't
Oh,
matter what
yeah,
kind of meal
that's
it is.
it.
She loves donuts.
Peachy's
So
donuts. Yes.
Peachy's?
yeah,
Hard to beat.
yeah.
Mm. And
What is
you're-
yours?
You're Owens.
Yeah. What's
Right.
yours?
I mean, honestly, I'd say Miller's.
Miller's?
Miller's Ale House, yeah.
Oh, I was like, which was that?
I mean, it's local. It's here in Bradenton, so
Yeah.
hey, if
Yeah.
it's here, that counts as local.
Yep.
All right, probably the biggest thing we're going to talk about today is the best chicken wing spot.
The best
Oh.
chicken wing spot.
Yeah, who's got the best chicken wings?
I would say from my husband's kitchen. Yeah, he makes the best chicken wings, I think.
All right,
Does he?
aside from your husband's kitchen, if he was going out and buying them, where would you go?
Gosh.
I don't even know. There was one place I remember my husband getting chicken wings from that was really good, but I don't even eat chicken wings,
You
so
don't eat
I don't
chicken
even
wings?
really know. Oh, maybe
So
it was
that's not a
like
fair question.
Rico's or something. Actually, it was like it wasn't even actually a wing place, so I don't
Hmm.
really know that.
Well, I'm a creature of habit, so Miller's for the win for me.
Oh, Miller's gets
That's
2
why they're your
points.
favorite. Are wings your
We gotta go
favorite
to
meal?
Miller's after this.
One of them, I love chicken wings. When they're good, obviously, but
Yeah.
Miller's has good wings. Wings and Things has good wings. There's a
Yeah.
couple different spots around. but
Yeah.
I like chicken wings.
Yeah.
All right, you're taking a client or a family member from out of town out to eat.
Mhm.
Where are you going?
Hmm. Shore, Longboat
Yeah.
Key, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it right on the water?
Right on the water.
Nice.
It's
Have you
beautiful.
been to Shore before?
not.
Oh, okay. It's so nice. Yeah, you should go there.
I don't think I have, anyways.
Yeah.
And if it's a high-end client, then I'm taking them to the spa at the St. Regis.
Okay.
It's not a restaurant. She
That's
just
fair
likes
enough.
to go
Hey,
to the spa.
That can count. If I was taking out a high end client, I'd probably do Ocean Prime.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Ocean Prime is probably good.
Yep.
That's where I would go.
Yeah.
Melissa, no telling where she'd take.
Yeah.
Me, we're going to Ocean Prime.
Yeah.
All right, couple more questions. Would you rather beach day or boat day?
Ooh. I mean, we beach a lot. Like
You
it's
beach a
like
lot?
every Saturday morning we go down to the beach for the most part, as long as it's warm. So I would say maybe a boat day just because we don't do it as often. It would be nice to go out on the boat. But yeah.
We're split down the middle. I'm boat.
Yeah.
And
Melissa's
she's beach. Yeah.
She loves the beach. I love the boat. So we
Mm.
try to
Get them
make
both in.
get them both in. We
Yeah.
go on the boat and hang out at the beach.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Not the same experience when
Yeah.
you drive
Yeah.
out to the beach and you set up your chairs and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but I prefer boats.
We have young kids, so I think like the beach is good because they're like all on land and don't have to worry about life.
They're all on
Yeah.
land.
You
We can
know,
relax a
They
little
can
bit
run
more.
away and we can still sit there. So
Last icebreaker question is: how do you guys unwind? What do you do for fun? Not related to work whatsoever. I know it's hard to turn it off.
yeah.
But if you're able to do that, how do you? What's your go-to?
Oh man. Well, Brooke likes to go to the St. Regis Spa.
That's a good unwind.
Which is nice. Gosh, I love just going out to dinner with friends. You know, my husband and I going out
That's
with
good.
friends or
Mhm.
being with our kids, taking walks, going to the beach. I mean, I love our Saturdays at the beach.
Anything
so
to
it's
get your
just
mind
kind
off
of
of work.
yeah, just
'Cause
to like
it
relax.
is really
and
hard sometimes to
Yeah.
It is,
to turn it
especially in
off.
like a 24/7 industry.
Yep.
Yeah, for
You get
sure.
emergency calls and all
Yeah.
that, and then you got to deal with homeowners on the back end, especially when you're super involved. You own the business.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That really makes a lot of people's like, they clog out.
Yep.
They go home, they
Yeah.
don't have worry in the world.
Mhm.
That doesn't work like that for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We get the late phone calls. Hey, this didn't happen, or this was, this is wrong, or whatever the case may be. We got an
Mhm.
emergency, whatever. So it never really turns off for us.
Yep.
Yep.
And for me, so my wife and I, we like to go out to eat. We like to go out on the boat, and that's what we do for fun.
Mhm.
And I would say I have an issue with it really stopping. Like, I never really fully unwind.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a discipline.
Yeah, something I got to work on. She's able to more so than me,
Mm.
but um, yeah, that's what we do.
Mhm.
All right. What DRYmedic actually does. So, for homeowners that never heard of you guys,
Mhm.
what problems do you solve after water gets inside of a home? What is it that you do?
Yeah, so the term for our industry is restoration. So the idea is that we're coming in after there's damage and we help restore something that's broken. So for example, if there's a pipe burst or a shower leak or, a sink overflow, anything like that that causes water,
Hmm.
you need to take care of what caused the water damage. So whether it's calling a plumber or a roofer, if there's a leak from the roof, something with your AC system, you get that fixed.
Hmm.
Simultaneously, you also want to get someone like us in there that can help look at what did that water affect, because it didn't just only sit in the sink. It also
Right.
ran over, it touched your cabinetry, your floors, your drywall, and if left unattended, then that's when you start to have mold problems. So we're really a team that can come in as soon as there's a problem, help assess, make sure that they're getting the right partner on site to help take care of where that source came from,
Hmm.
and dry out the materials if possible, or get those wet materials removed and dry out what's structural.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's really to mitigate there from being further damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the most common? You talked about finding, essentially finding the source. It could be
Hmm.
a roof issue. It could be
Mhm.
AC inside the attic, pans overflowing,
Hmm.
Mhm.
plumbing. Um, could be a number of different things.
Yeah.
What is the most common cause that you get, or what is the most common source? Is there like a common
Yeah.
denominator? Is it usually the roof? Is it usually a plumbing issue? What's the most common ones that you guys see?
Sure. Yeah. We have about 50 different blanks that we can put in for when we get a call of what the
Hmm.
source is. I would say typically we do get a lot of pipe leaks, supply line breaks, toilet overflows, dishwasher and
Really,
washing
I never
machine
even thought of the
overflows.
toilet overflow. I guess if it's second
Mhm.
story, well,
Yep.
even the
Like if
first floor,
Yeah, backup basically,
I
more
never
or
thought of
Mhm.
that.
less. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the season too. You ask us around hurricane season and it can look a lot different than
A
Sure.
typical day.
average, just our general
Right.
dry season. So when we could be having a lot more roof leaks, we've had a couple sink overflows, a stopper in the drain, things like that.
Wow.
So,
We've
but
had
The
some
that
stopper
funny
was left in
happens.
the
stories too.
drain?
Stopper in the drain, clothes left in a sink that they were cleaning, these
Mhm.
things happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, how often have you went to a call and you see, what appears to be a small little thing, um, that maybe, perhaps the business owner, homeowner, they just noticed it,
Mhm.
but it's been really going on for months. Is that
Mm.
is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple instances where, especially when it relates to bathrooms, when there's a shower leak or, maybe the toilet wasn't secured properly and there's a leak under the tile, that's
Mhm.
affecting the subfloor, anything underneath the structural wood underneath in between the floors. A lot of those things can add up over time, and it's hidden. If you don't know it's behind a cabinet, if you don't know that it's underneath your carpet, you're not seeing anything all the time. So
Mhm.
sometimes it takes having us come in with a moisture meter. We can kind of track where that moisture is coming from and start lifting things away
Right.
to figure
Mhm.
out what's underneath it.
So, in our industry with roofing, a lot of times we'll have, we'll go out to a call and the homeowner will be like, it's not leaking that bad.
Hmm.
It's not causing a lot of damage. What is the harm in that if they, let's just say, for example, it's not that big of a leak and
Mhm.
Hmm.
it's really not causing them a lot of damage that they can immediately see.
Mhm.
What is some potential side effects of allowing that to continue
Mhm.
aside from causing the plywood on the roof to rot out and, ultimately make the repair bigger.
Sure.
What is some negative impacts it could have on them for not fixing that?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we see that all the time. And oftentimes on the surface, things look okay or just a little bit of damage, but on the inside, things are not okay. And so, even if there's a little bit of moisture trapped over time, that little bit of moisture, add some humidity, it's going to be a great food source for mold to grow. So, then we're having a completely different conversation. So, if things are caught on the front end, it's going to be a smaller scope, probably going to cost the homeowner a lot less and save time, and may even be covered by insurance. If we continue to wait and not fix the problem up front, then we're having a more difficult conversation. So
Mm,
it's always important to check things out and get them taken care of up front.
It's
okay.
actually interesting. Sometimes we get the phone call and it's the whole house is flooded and, everything's upside down. And we get there and we're like, oh no, it's really not that bad. You
Hmm.
think
Right.
it's really not. The whole house flooded and things are contained
Yeah.
and it was clean
Yeah.
water and we can do what we can to mitigate. And then there's some where it's like, well, it's just this little thing, oftentimes the husband's only having us come out just to appease his wife and not let it be a big
Right.
deal. And we're like, well, actually, this
And
is a
it's been going on
This is
significant
for
bad.
issue. It's
months
been
and they've
going
got
Yeah.
on.
mold
And
growth and like,
yeah, so it's
yeah.
always like you never know when the call, like, really what the situation is till you get there.
So
Yeah.
speaking of timelines, what's happening behind the scenes in the first 24 hours after you realize that you have some type of leak
Mm.
or even flooding?
Hmm.
You want to go?
Yeah, well, typically what happens is as a homeowner, especially one that has no idea what to do, they're Googling, they're a little nervous, they're kind of freaked out, they're calling their friends, they're on next door, they're trying to figure out the problem. And so oftentimes when we walk into someone's home, the first thing that we do is we try to restore their peace of mind, their
Hmm.
sanity, help them, get clarity and confidence of what do I do? What are next steps? Do I trust these people? And help them kind of walk through the next stages. All right, that's what I thought of. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
there is always trying to figure out what's really going on. So
Hmm.
if it's something obvious, we know who to call. Sometimes we just need to stabilize it until we can get leak detection out to actually come figure it out. Something like a slab leak where
Hmm.
someone probably doesn't know, especially if you've got tile or hardwood flooring down, trying to find something like that can be hard. So we'll always try to make sure that we can get the source figured out and discovered and that they're getting that taken care of because there's only so much we can do that if that water comes back, we're going to have another problem again. And
Okay.
then we just get the environment stabilized so that it's not getting any worse and we can assess what material needs to be removed to get it into a drying state.
Okay. Being in Florida, obviously the sunshine state, a lot of heat, a lot of humidity. What is the timeline, roughly speaking,
Mhm.
for mold to start growing and to start to form inside of, whatever leak or issues going on? How long what is the timeline for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think statistically they say it takes 24 to 48 hours for mold to start growing. So if
Really
it
that quick?
yeah, it can be
Mhm.
quick. So it if you're not and a lot of that has to do with what material it's in, how is it trapped, is there any airflow? Some of those
Temperature.
things can mitigate it from happening, but mold spores are microscopic. So even
Hmm.
though, we may
Can't necessarily
get there,
see
we
it.
don't always see it. You
Right.
might not see visible mold that quickly, but that doesn't mean it's not starting. So that's why we always want to make sure we're trying to get there as soon as possible to get it taken care of, get if it's necessary, get it contained. But when you walk in, if you open up something and you see, that those little fuzzy green spots all over something, that
Hmm.
wasn't in 24 hours. That took a little bit of time for that to develop. So it all just depends on the climate, on the environment, um, and really how trapped that water might be to airflow, because that'll help keep it from developing as quickly.
Okay. Is there different types of mold?
Oh yeah.
Like you hear different terms like black mold and
Hmm.
just I don't know. I'm not in this industry, so I don't know. But you hear all kind of different terms for mold.
Yeah.
Is there one that's more harmful than the other?
Yeah.
Like is
Mhm.
is the cheese that was left in the fridge for too long, is
Right.
it different from the mold that
It
grows
is
from
different.
water
Mhm.
damage?
It
Like,
is
Yep.
different. There are different types of mold. There's mold that'll come, from having house plants in your home that just there's dirt and there's just some, you're watering those plants that can also have some types of mold in your home. And not all mold is bad for you. So we're all exposed to a certain level of mold just by walking outside, but there are certain types of mold that are not supposed to be there. So
mhm,
certain types of mold that come from water damage, for example, should not be there. It's a lot different than something that might be in your plant or might be on the bottom of your shoes from when you walk inside, something like that.
okay,
There are definitely people who have more significant reactions to different types of mold that you're really trying to make sure you eliminate. But when it comes to just a water damage, Aspergillus penicillin, cladosporum, chaetomium, stachybotrys. Chaetomium and stachybotrys are those two molds that they're zero tolerance molds, which is essentially what we want to get a complete elimination of. There's not
mhm,
with Aspergillus penicillin, there's a certain amount of mold spores that are tolerable in what's considered a healthy home environment that we're all probably exposed to at some point. But those two molds are definitely the most unhealthy for us to be exposed to, and we need to get those out of our environment completely.
okay.
Never thought we'd know so much about mold.
No, I didn't
And
either.
no one
And
wants
that
to say the M word, and it's something we're very careful about even when we walk into a customer's
right,
home. So we can't just by looking at something say that's what it is.
right, you have to
You
do
you
testing and
know
all that
what,
first, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
the tester and the hygienist is really who can confirm or deny the presence of mold.
So I've heard stories, um, of people getting sick and didn't know why.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Husband thinks, "Oh, my wife's just crazy. She's
Yeah.
always got this little thing going on." And it turned out they had a mold problem, and she
Mhm.
was highly allergic to whatever mold strain or whatever it was,
Yeah.
but she was
Yeah.
really allergic to it. And
Right.
you
We
know,
see that a lot.
come to find out, they had a leak, but they didn't see it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like it was a big yellow stain on the ceiling or
Mhm.
water on the floor.
Mhm.
They didn't actually see it. It was running down the
Right.
wall
Right.
Right.
and going out of the home. So they never seen it, but the whole time
It was
this
building
They're
up.
thing,
being
and it was just a
exposed.
slow drip from the AC,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and whole time the mold sitting there growing,
Yep.
Yes.
and she's getting sick, and they can't figure out why. And
Mhm.
husband thinks she's crazy.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, at this point, she's just a hypochondriac, and every little thing every other day she's sick for some, for whatever
Mm.
reason.
Yeah.
Come to find out it was mold. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually mold dogs are really good to finding those types of problems because they're behind things that we can't see. So even a hygienist can come in and they can look at places that might have shown signs of water damage. Like we can use just deductive reasoning and
mhm,
process of elimination to find out where things, looking around where there might be pipes for water damage, looking around windows. But if
Mhm.
there's nothing visible and we're not detecting any water damage, it's hard to find some of those things. So there have been instances where we've been on jobs where a mold dog has been brought in, and those dogs are trained to really pick up any amount of detection of mold. And so they can often go to different places in the house and find something that needs to be
Mhm.
discovered that you wouldn't
that's cool. I didn't
necessarily
Yeah.
know.
see.
Isn't that
Yeah.
Mold
interesting?
dogs,
A mold
Yep.
dog. Yeah.
and it's a real. So it's not just a slang term for a
No, no, no.
robot or
It's
something, right?
actual
Because in the
dogs
roofing
Okay.
world,
trained
we
like
have a
hunting
dog too.
dogs.
We
Yeah.
have a dog, or we call it a dog, but it's a robot. It's a robot welder for
Oh,
TPO
okay.
roofing,
Okay.
and we
Yeah.
call it the dog.
Oh, no, this is
Mm.
actually
And
a
it's
literal dog.
universal throughout like everybody. If you're a commercial roofer, and you say, "Hey, do you got a dog?" They know exactly what you're talking about. But it's not a
Sure.
real dog. So
No.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah, this is a real dog.
A
like
real
a
animal.
drug canine,
Yes.
but
Yes.
for mold.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that's cool.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What's one of the biggest mistakes that you guys have seen for a homeowner trying to do a DIY?
Mm.
Ooh.
Like they got mold, they cut their own sheetrock out and
Well, not
whatever, and
even
they try
that.
to do
Probably
it.
bleach.
Bleach.
Bleach?
Yep. The
That's another one of
bleach.
our questions is,
The
does
bleach.
bleach kill mold?
Mm.
Yeah, so the funny thing about mold is you don't really actually kill it. You have to remove it from the environment.
Mhm,
So
Mm.
when it's in a material that's non-porous, like something metal, a sealed wood table,
mhm,
glass, anything like that, plastic, we can use an antimicrobial and wipe that off.
Mhm.
When it's in something like drywall, particle board, anything like that that might be porous and
where it can
hold
get
those spores in
saturated.
it, you actually can't physically kill it and remove. You have to actually cut it out to
Remove it.
remove it. So there's a misconception that people think, oh, I can just spray some bleach on it and it'll take away the color and discoloration. But actually, what you're doing is feeding it because the bleach has moisture in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're adding moisture to something that feeds on moisture. So it's still those spores. The appearance of them may look like they're gone, but you're actually feeding it if you're not actually correcting the source and getting it removed.
So I have been told this. I don't know if it's a myth, but maybe you guys can squash it for me. If you spray mold if you spray it with bleach, not only does it not kill it, it makes it go airborne. Is that true? And makes it spread faster?
It could.
It could, depending on how you're spraying it, maybe, and what the situation may look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just a general blanket term that somebody
Yeah.
told me, like, hey, if you spray it with bleach,
I mean, the
it's gonna
spores are
make it worse.
microscopic, and so you don't want to disturb them to travel any more than
Right.
they already are.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Mold. There's a lot to mold.
Recommend
Yeah.
no bleach.
Lots
just
of
call
mold.
DRYmedic.
Just call and actually get it removed.
All right. So, scenario: Friday night, family's at home. They notice a leak. What should they do right away? Is it a phone call to you guys? Who do they need to call first? If they have no idea, like if they don't like, say it's a 2-story home and it's leaking, they see a water stain on the wall and the ceiling where the two are conjoined. Could be from a bathroom, could be from the AC, could be from the roof,
Could be from a stucco crack on the
could be from a
exterior
stucco,
wall.
could be a window.
Yep.
We don't know. Who do they call first? And how urgent is something like that?
Well, my first recommendation would be to turn the water off to the house and then to call us. Typically, when we go on site and we can inspect and see what the source is, we are calling out blue collar roofing to come fix the roof, or we're calling out a plumber to come fix the plumbing. So oftentimes, a little bit different in our trade than others is we are constantly connecting in other trades that need to be brought in to fix the source.
Yeah.
And then we're also helping to mitigate the problems on the property with the water damage as well.
So I would say that would be that. I mean, that's a pretty good response because a lot of times we get called out for a roof leak and it's the AC. We've got called out for roof leaks and it was the plumbing line busted or the joint was just barely dripping.
Yep.
We've had a lady call. Now, mind you, we hadn't had any rain for 3 weeks. She's got a wet spot on her ceiling, now right away I'm thinking like, okay, this probably ain't the roof.
Right.
Slight possibility that condensation, like if she had a big hole in the roof, condensation could have come in and it could have been the roof. But we went out and a rat had chewed a hole through the ductwork. So the cold air and the hot air mixing, it was causing condensation.
Leaking on top
and
of
it
the
was
drywall.
sitting on top of the sheetrock. And that had been going on for a little while.
Yeah.
And this was, I don't know, probably 3 years ago. And I always use that example to my guys. I'm like, if somebody says they have a leak, you have to go and check it.
Yeah.
Because you really don't know what the source is. And a lot of times we can only eliminate the roof. We're not plumbers. We're not AC guys. We don't have a network of different trades that we can just call and say, hey, we got this going on. Can you come take a look real quick? Whereas with you guys, you really have a network because you have to work with multiple different trades.
Yes.
And everything you guys do, you're having to work with sheetrock guys and probably painters, AC guys, like all the trades. You guys are working with all the trades. So
all the trades.
You guys would be a great source to call first because number one, you're going to see what they're dealing with, maybe be able to help them, mitigate that in the meantime until the source is actually found, and then find somebody to actually fix the source, and then you guys can come in and take care of the rest afterwards. So
we now even have clients that do not like that we've finished their jobs and they still call us and say, hey, I know you guys have so many different trades. I need a plumber. I need an HVAC. I need a good manicurist. I need a dry cleaner. Like the amount of questions that we have now about different people locally in the market that we trust has been really neat.
Right. When it comes to insurance, documentation, and claims, I know you guys are very familiar with that.
Yes.
What documentation does insurance care about most when it comes to water or mold claims?
Photos. Photos are really important, especially a lot of times before we even get there, if the client can document what they're initially seeing. Because there's oftentimes that, they're people are resourceful. They're shop backing something before
Mhm.
we can even get there. But for them really to see what it looked like, where it came from,
Right.
anything like that is important. So as much as we do all that documentation, take a lot of photos when we get there,
Mhm.
that's really important. But yeah, we take photos of everything, the backs of drywall when it comes off, the gloves and PPE our team are in, the um, our moisture readings when
Mhm.
we're there to document what was pulled out, the where we are suspecting the source to be from. So we really try to make sure we have that well-rounded picture so that when the adjuster gets all of our information, they don't have to investigate. They've
Right.
got what they need and they make it clean and simple.
You got a
Gets
clear
us paid
picture.
quickly, gets it taken care of for the customer quickly. So that is really important. We also do dry logs. So we actually have a system that we put in all of our information and we put our equipment in. It's Bluetooth. So it just logs in there that it's been put on site.
Mhm.
We do our moisture readings. Everything's in there really succinct. So same thing. We send it to insurance. They see, oh, it was wet. It was either removed or it was dry. And so it's pretty clear for them to see that the job was done and completed. But probably pictures are the most important thing to be able to show what has been done, for someone who's not actually physically there on the job.
And you would suggest as soon as a homeowner
Hmm.
sees something,
Take
take
a
as many
photo.
photos as they can.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Specific, because
Which
I know
feels flustering when you're in the moment and you've got a
Mhm.
lot of water on the ground. Most people aren't like, hold on, let
Yeah.
me
Right.
take, but it really is helpful from the initial documentation standpoint.
And I
Mhm.
think for the most part, everybody's reaction, unless it's like a stain in the ceiling, if it's something else, like a uh, drain stopper
Hmm.
that was left in and it's overflowing, everybody's reaction is going to be, "Oh, we got to get this cleaned
And
up
just clean it up.
Yes.
and clean it up." And then now
Yeah.
you've cleaned up all your evidence. No, not
And
all
then
of it,
we
but
kind of
you've
come and have to
cleaned it up.
investigate a little
Yeah.
bit more because we
Right.
didn't see where did that water come from.
And then from
So,
the insurance perspective, like, did that really happen? Like,
mhm,
Mhm.
how is that possible? Like, did somebody really leave the stopper in and
Mhm.
leave the
mhm,
water on, or whatever the case may be? But if you got that documentation, if you got the pictures, like, hey, that really did happen.
mhm,
Mhm.
And that's, part of that is tied into roofing too. You got to take a ton of pictures.
mhm.
Yeah.
They want to know, because a lot of people will, storm comes through, they get up there and they put a tarp on their roof and they put nails all over the tarp.
Oh.
Well, now
Mhm.
you've destroyed a lot of
The roof that
the roof
was
that
okay.
was technically still okay,
Right.
Mhm.
even though your damage may constitute a new roof
Hmm.
because half of it's gone, but half of it's still good. Now you've ruined the good part by putting
Mhm.
nails on it, and they didn't get a picture one.
Yeah.
So before you do anything, take pictures.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, that's for roofing and for
Yep.
you guys on the
Yeah.
restoration side.
And
Yeah.
even going into storms, like when you know a storm's on the
Hmm.
horizon, for us, before we even left our home, I took pictures of everything, every room, all my contents, even pre-storm.
So
It's helpful to have
That is very
that
important.
that's good.
documentation.
And we do something like that. We call it a proof of roof.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's basically, we go out, we take a bunch of pictures of all your roofing, all your fascia, your soffit, your gutters, all four sides of the home. We don't do anything on the interior,
Hmm.
Mhm.
but we do take plenty of pictures on the outside. It's all time stamped, location stamped,
Yep.
Hmm.
and then now you don't have to argue with the insurance like, oh, that was pre-existing. You had
Right.
those shingles
You know
missing
what?
before. Like, no, they wasn't, dude. Look here,
Mm.
these people was here on this date.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This was good prior to this
Hmm.
storm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So very important to have that.
Yeah.
What red flags um, slow down an insurance claim, or
It's
something
Good
that
it's
question.
insurance
really
company?
when the
Hmm.
source of loss is undiscovered.
Okay.
So, because the source of loss is going to determine from insurance if it's covered or not. There's
Mm.
language in our insurance documentation that says sudden and accidental. Those are some terms that
Hmm.
most of our insurance policies all include. Sudden and accidental water damage is what they will cover. So when it's something that may have been going on for a long time and they haven't taken care of it, that's when there gets that gray area of if you're going to have an adjuster who's going to decide to cover that claim or not.
Mhm.
So it really is that can be the holdup if we really have some. That's why we even like to bring out leak detection if we don't really know. It also helps us confirm what type of water it was that where it came from, if it's clean or dirty water. So we want to know that even for just how we do our work to know where that water came from. So that's probably the most important. But I mean, really, from our side, we do our best to make sure all of our documentation is really clear. All of our dry logs are clear. Our photos are clear. My invoice is in line and can get it sent off. And so I mean, knock on wood, we have really good timeliness with insurance companies.
Mhm.
So
Good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Another question that doesn't necessarily pertain to you guys. Um, but it regards insurance. So you guys obviously work with insurance companies all the
Mhm.
time. You're very familiar with the claims process. If a family goes out on vacation, let's say they go on a cruise and they come home and they find their home is flooded because
Oh.
the water line to the dishwasher broke while they was gone,
Mhm.
and now water everywhere. Is
We have
that
had
gonna
that exact scenario happen this
Yeah,
year.
yeah?
not a dishwasher, but
So
Yes.
another
Out on a
appliance?
cruise, the entire home flooded.
yeah,
Yep.
Yep. So there you go. It happens. Is that a flood claim or is that going to go on their homeowners?
that's
And
Mm-mm.
homeowners.
that's
Yep.
homeowners. So what would you recommend people that only have homeowners and don't have flood
Mhm.
insurance?
Hmm.
Because I know you guys have seen a lot. You've had to have seen a lot of people that never would have expected to get flooded.
Right.
And in these recent storms we've had, they got flooded out and now
Yeah.
they're on the hook for everything out of
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah, well, and flood insurance comes into play when it's rising water. So when the
Hmm.
ground when it's coming from below. So when the water, and it has to affect a certain amount of homes in a radius of that area for actually your flood policy to kick in. So if you're the only house on the street that had some flood damage, rising water, it's harder for that evaluation to come through. But when there's, if you get a whole street that had multiple homes affected by rising water, oversaturation in the ground, the creek overflowing, whatever that might look like, that's when you get more into those flood policies. But when it's something in your home that has
Mhm.
caused the damage, or if it's water like coming from above, from your roof, things like that, wind driven rain, those all tap into your
Homeowner.
homeowner's policy.
That's good info. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize what you just said about if you're the only house on the block that was affected by rising
Mhm.
water, it would be harder for the claim
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
to get approved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I mean, I guess I could see that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um,
It's also important to review what your homeowner's
Yeah.
insurance is and to know what your declarations page
Yep.
says. It's interesting, even before having this business, I never realized what my limits were in terms of my contents
Hmm.
or what my mold coverage is. So sometimes it's helpful to know that on the front end
Mhm.
before you're in a panic.
Yep. Um, so the previous episode we had, I had an insurance guy on,
Oh.
Clint Bailey, at the Florida Farmers Bureau, and he, like he said, that's the most important thing is look at your policy, see what
Mhm.
your coverages are, see what is actually covered. Is it actual cash value payout
Hmm.
or I don't remember the other term, um, but where they pay it in full.
Yeah.
So like if your roof gets blown off, if it's actual cash value and it's 10 years old, they deduct
Hmm.
10 years worth of
Yeah. The
costs,
cost of what it
Yeah.
would be. Yeah.
and then you're left with half of the money for a new
Mhm.
roof versus if you get the full reimbursement. So very important to look at your declaration page, like you said,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and really know what you're covered on instead of waiting till something happens to
Mhm.
figure out, is this really covered?
Right.
Mhm.
Do that prior to.
Right.
And I would tell people to sit with their insurance agent
Hmm.
and go over that because if not, they're going to be talking to us at some point like,
Yeah.
hey, I got a roof issue. Hey, I got flood issue, mold issue.
Yeah.
They're going to be talking to us at some point.
Yeah.
And all of the trades, none of it's cheap,
Right.
right?
Mm-mm.
So
Right.
you're already paying insurance, and most of the time, it doesn't cost that much more to get the actual coverages that you need in the event that something does happen.
Yeah.
Because it's not a matter of if, it's
It's
when.
when.
It
Yeah.
may not be
Mhm.
in this house, but it's
Yeah.
going to be
It's
in your next
when,
house.
But
So
it happens.
it's always
Yeah.
always important to check that.
We're very careful not to get in the business of telling someone if their claim is covered or not.
Hmm.
When we walk in, I have no idea if everything's going to be covered or not.
Right.
It can depend on the insurance adjuster. It can go back to the insurance company above,
Hmm.
a third party review. It could. So there's things that do look obvious,
Right.
things like a supply line break. Some of those kind of things are pretty cut and dry. But there's, we always, like you said, direct back to the insurance agent or talking directly to their insurance
Hmm.
company to get that confirmation. It's not going to come from us.
All right. So we just talked about a minute ago. Who is the person that the homeowner calls to come out and assess? Who is the first person they call? Do they call you guys first or do they call their insurance company first?
They could really do either.
Either.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
a lot of insurance companies are going to have a preferred vendor program. So,
Hmm.
a lot of large companies are part of those programs. So the insurance company may deploy one of their vendors to come
Mhm.
out. They'll say, we'll send somebody out. I've had that happen in my very first home, like 15 years ago. We had a washing machine overflow. We called our insurance company and they sent out Paul Davis. So they were set up as a preferred vendor, and it they, you know, took care of things that way. So, but
Right.
if not, they, they could call someone like us
Mhm.
and we can get out there and then start that information with.
Mhm.
There are, especially in Florida, there are a lot of homeowners who are very careful. They don't want to all call their insurance company and file a claim. There's been so much going on with policies dropping and
Yep.
insurance companies leaving the state. And luckily, some things are changing with a year with no hurricanes. So hopefully, there's a little bit of a shift in our
Mhm.
prices and things like
Hopefully.
that. Um, but it, a lot of people do feel hesitant to just go ahead and pick up the phone and get on the insurance company's radar. They
Right.
just don't want to file that claim all the
They
time.
don't wanna do it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. So they'll see kind
Same.
of, what am I looking at
Mhm.
with this? Is this something I can fix out of pocket and I don't
Mhm.
have to do, or is this something I really need to tap into some other resources?
Yeah. What is something that a homeowner can do unknowingly that would affect their insurance claim or process? What's
Mm.
something they can do and not even know that it's wrong
Talk
to
too
do that?
much.
Talk
Yes.
Talk
too
too
much?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they've 'cause from in defense of homeowners,
Yeah.
being one myself,
Mhm.
the insurance company can be very tricky in the questions that they ask
Hmm.
and almost like you don't want to self-incriminate yourself
Mhm.
um, and not get paid out for a claim that
Hmm.
you rightfully should get paid out on just because you answered a question wrong.
Right.
Mhm.
So I have to
Yeah,
agree
and I
with
mean,
that.
we all want to be honest.
Yes.
You think, "Oh,
Right.
I'm just explaining the situation. It's really
Mhm.
helpful. I'm being really honest." And it's not that we're telling anyone not to be honest. It's just, they sometimes also as a homeowner, you don't really know what's fully going on. So if you just start talking a bunch about what's going on, it may not help your claim.
Right.
And sometimes insurance companies are going to, they're asking those questions not to always determine if it's covered. They're trying to find a way for it not to be covered.
Right.
So it's, sometimes it's just saying less is more
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
letting them come out and assess or us provide the
Let them do their thing.
documentation and
Yes.
and see what happens. Yeah.
So when is mold truly dangerous versus
Hmm.
just a nuisance? Is there is that a legit question?
If I mean, if you have visible mold in your home, you shouldn't have it.
Mhm.
So I can't say based on, it depends on the situation and like if an assessor came out
Mhm.
and what they would see and test and what they would find if it's a dangerous type of mold. But if you see, there should never be mold on your drywall. There should
Yeah.
never be mold on your cabinetry. There's things that it shouldn't be there. Like you wouldn't
Mhm.
eat the moldy cheese in your
Right.
fridge. You would
Right.
That's the
toss it out.
nuisance. That's the only nuisance is the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. That's when it's
Okay.
Mhm.
just get rid of
So
it.
when it's on your food, that's a nuisance. Chunk it.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
on
But
your
you wouldn't leave
drywall,
it there. So you shouldn't leave it like on your drywall
right.
Yeah.
either. So yeah. But when it becomes a real health risk, that's something that, is up to every individual and how their body reacts to it.
So you guys have already hit this, but one of the questions is mold usually visible or is it hidden? And it really depends on the case where the water damage is, what's going on.
Mhm.
Um, because it really can't be anywhere. A lot of times behind the sheetrock and you can't see it,
Right.
Mhm.
like you guys said. So that's that.
Yeah, sometimes it's not visible. You can, since the spores are so small and they can travel through the air, oftentimes when a hygienist comes in and tests an area that shows visible mold, it's also traveled to other parts of the home that we can't visibly see, but it's also
Mhm.
showing up in the air quality tests in other parts of the home. So that's why we heavily rely on hygienist reports as well.
How do you guys help homeowners protect themselves while work is actively happening?
Mhm.
Like when you come in and
Hmm.
y'all are doing y'all's thing, the homeowner kicked out and put in a hotel for a little bit, or y'all able to work around them?
Mm.
They still able to live in the home? Well, I mean, obviously, if the house is completely flooded and all that,
Yeah.
different story. But for
Yeah.
a normal case where uh water line bursts and you guys are
Hmm.
remediating that,
Yeah.
are you able to close off just a section of the house, or
Mhm.
how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's also our job to protect the homeowner with when we come in. So when it's mold, we're setting up containment. So those plastic sheets that they're not able to come into a contained zone where there's spores, and we have personal protective equipment that we use, and they do not come into those environments. In terms of water damage areas, I think that initially, especially either before we arrive or after we arrive, there's always potential issues with electrical sockets being wet or slipping, fall. There's
Mhm.
obvious ones, but for us, we have certain protocols that our team has in place to ensure that the homeowner is safe. Their animals are safe. They're not tripping on cords. They're not walking into zones they don't need to be in. And, documenting that and communicating that thoroughly up front.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about how a roofer is able to work with you guys.
Mhm.
Um, so, what makes a roofing company a great referral partner
Mhm.
during a water damage situation?
Well, big ones that they're honest,
Yeah,
so I think that's what goes for both of our industries,
yeah.
just being honest and being able to come out and say, like, I see something or I don't.
Hmm.
And that's where, we've relied on you guys heavily many times to come out and take a look at things and see, is there anything possibly that could be going on here? It's either the AC ducts or the roof, what's going on. So, I mean, just to have somebody that's willing to come and help when, they may not know if it's a good job for them or not. They're just, having to come and do an inspection and assess. So I think just knowing that they're honest and they're going to say what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done is something
Mhm.
that I think is really honorable in the trades for the
Yeah.
most part. So,
Yeah, 100% of the time we are looking for partners that live and breathe the same values that we do, not just
Hmm.
speak them, but that they actually are exhibiting behaviors and showing up with compassion and professionalism and integrity and, all the things that we desire as a company.
Yeah.
With a roofer specifically, if there is any water damage coming from the ceiling, we want a roofer up there and checking out the roof. If
Hmm.
there is any issues, we always recommend that the source of the loss be fixed prior to us, completing our work so they don't have the same problem happening again. So, yeah, that's when we're partnering with roofers.
What information helps you guys do whatever y'all do? What claim or your work? What information from the roofer helps you guys move faster, cleaner, and more efficient? Just documentation.
yeah, being able to provide like an inspection report. These are some photos of what we saw, this, written bullet
Mhm.
points of this is the
Hmm.
areas of concern, what we recommend to be repaired, or even a documentation that the work has been done. One thing about insurance is they don't cover the cause that of the source of, like, does that make sense?
Yep.
So they won't cover the roof repair all the time, but
Hmm.
they'll cover the
To cover the interior
damage that
damage.
it may have caused.
Right.
Mhm.
So at least having that documentation of, okay, so we've, the homeowner was proactive. They got also a roofer out here to repair the leak and get it fixed, tarp it, whatever needed to be done in order for the interior of the home to be protected. That's helpful for the homeowner from a documentation standpoint, that they've been proactive and they've done what they need to do as a homeowner to take care of their home.
Mhm.
And so insurance rewards that in a sense. So,
Right.
Mhm.
What is something that roofers could potentially say, or put in writing, perhaps on a report or an inspection report, that could complicate a claim?
I don't
You
think I
have or you
know.
don't have mold.
So the
Um,
dirty M word.
Yeah.
yep,
So
that could.
and I tell our guys we're not, won't say mold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Y'all don't
No
know
one
if
wants
it's
to
mold.
say it.
You
Mhm.
don't know if it's mold. Even if you know it's mold, you don't know if it's mold or not.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you got to call these people
You
because
do.
they can come out and test it. And
Right.
because as soon as you bring up mold, like homeowner freaks, oh my goodness, we got mold.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe that's why I've been having the sniffles or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah. There is a
Um,
psychological component to it.
Yeah.
yeah, as
Yeah.
soon yeah, 100%. There is, and then there is the legit side that people are allergic
There
to it,
is.
Right.
Yeah. I don't
and
discredit that at
And it
all.
is scary.
they can
Yes.
really get
Yeah.
sick. So
Yes.
it's very important
Yeah.
not only not to say anything about it, but to call the right person that can come out
Right.
and assess it.
Right.
And you guys, at the very least, even if you don't do the testing yourself,
Hmm.
you have. Is it law that you guys have to hire a third
Third
party?
party.
Okay,
Hmm.
just I
Mhm.
guess keeps it keeps it clean
Right.
Mhm.
and keeps the dishonest people
Yeah.
honest in that sense,
Mhm.
anyways.
Brooke had a good analogy the other day of, like, it would be like if our kids started grading their own tests,
Mm,
by when there's
right.
that kind of crossing of lines of if we
That
were
makes
testing our
That's a
own
perfect analogy.
work.
Mhm.
So
Yep,
yeah,
you need a
it's
third party. Yep.
Yeah.
yep. And there's times, from a homeowner's perspective that they may decide they don't want to do testing for one reason or another. We just always encourage that. It is an additional cost. It also can prolong some of our work based on how long, equipment may need to run in accordance with the testing and waiting for it and all that kind of stuff. But that's always our initial recommendation is to go ahead and start with testing.
If I can get it dry and dry fast enough, mold won't grow.
Yeah, for the most part, depending on where that came from and the material. Yeah.
But I would
But
also say myth
you have to fix
too.
the source, right?
Yeah, I would say
Well,
fixing the
yes.
source.
Trick question.
And oftentimes we get homeowners that say it's dry, looks dry. And
Right.
then we stick a moisture meter in there and I'm like, well, it's showing 100% wet. So
Right.
oftentimes they're like, if I just stick enough fans on it, it'll dry. And
So, and that's another so I've seen that from the roofing side.
Yeah.
mhm.
You get a wet ceiling and it appears that it is dry because, when it's wet, it has that distinct look. It's
Right.
got
Yeah.
like a dull look. Then when it dries out, it's got a brownish, yellowish
Mhm.
stain,
Right.
right? But in many cases, it's not always completely dry because that
Mhm.
sheetrock is soaked up so much, just the skim
Yes.
coat or the paint
Is what you can see.
is what you can see that's
Yeah.
dried. So they have the misconception, oh, it's dry. I touch it,
Mm-hmm.
don't feel wet, so it's got to be dry,
Mhm.
Right.
which that kind of is a trick question because it's not
Yeah.
always.
In
Yeah.
theory.
In
but-
theory, and I'm thinking like, oh, depending on what we get in and how quickly we dry
Yeah.
it, moisture
If you
meters,
could do
all
that-
those things. If we're looking at
Right.
it, yes, our goal is that we're getting to it quick enough and drying it if necessary.
So the
before
answer
there's
is
a problem.
fact, but the big picture
It's
is
Is
myth.
there's
Yes.
because there's too many variables
too
that go
many
into
things.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we already hit this one, but bleach kills mold.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Myth. If insurance denies it once, you're out of options.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. You can
always open up another claim.
continually- Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can continue to argue it. Appeal it. You
Mhm.
can, if it comes to a point you want to work with a public adjuster, you can pull in a public adjuster. So, yeah, you don't have to
There's
just give up right away.
there's in many cases we've seen this with roofing. Their first response, nope, not covered.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got 3, 4 denials
Mm-hmm.
before they actually sent someone out
Yeah.
to assess it. And I don't know if it's different with mold or whatever, but they literally got 3 or 4 denials before they actually sent someone out. And then they sent their adjuster out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, this is going to be approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But their initial responses was whether it's auto generated. We're moving into the AI world. I don't know if they have a
Yes,
computer
yeah.
system
Right,
that
that's
automatic
just-
like auto denial.
Yep.
And a lot of homeowners just take, well, they denied it, so I guess I'm gonna have to pay for
Right.
it.
Mhm.
But I think in many cases they're not even looking at it.
Right.
Like there's not a real person looking at it, and it's just
Mhm.
getting denied.
Yeah. You have to
Um,
advocate for yourself.
And then so you have to send it back
Yeah.
and say, hey, keep appealing it. And if you have to, like you said, get the
Mm-hmm.
adjuster in, because once an adjuster is involved, they're going to talk to a human. They're not going to
Yeah.
be speaking to an AI bot.
Yep.
And so a lot of times that will
Push
be
things along.
fruitful and it'll push it along and get the approval that is deserved.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I know for an ethical company,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to tell somebody to like, hey, you need to call your insurance if it's not a legit claim.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and same with us for roofing,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to do that. If it's not legit, we're not saying, hey, you need to make a claim. We can figure out a way to get this paid for. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and one more thing, like on insurance, and particularly in relationship to mold, a lot of people think, oh, I've got mold coverage. Mold is covered. Everything's covered. I've got homeowners. Everything is covered. And that's really not always the case. So it all comes back to what's that source of loss? Will they cover it from a water perspective? If so, then you can tap into that mold coverage. It's unlikely most times that an insurance company you're going to call and say, I have mold. And they're just going to go ahead and straight jump to giving you coverage on your mold coverage. It's often that you have to start from what actually caused the mold to get you to that point of having mold and then seeing if there's coverage there. So that's just, I guess, more of a fact and a myth or a fact that you might not
Right.
have. I have homeowners insurance. It's always, everything's covered.
Yeah. What is y'all service area? Are you Bradenton, Sarasota, or Manatee, Sarasota, or do you service all of the West Coast? What's your service area?
So we mainly cover Manatee and Sarasota County. Most of Sarasota County is technically like our territory area for our
Okay.
business. Since we are part of a franchise, we do have other partners, especially along this coast and the other coast of Florida, that we can always partner with and refer to if something comes in from that area. But we have teams in Tampa and Naples, Cape Corals, Port St. Lucie. So yeah, mostly you can find a dry medic close to where you're nearby.
So are you exclusively prohibited
Nope.
from working in Tampa? Say if my mother is in Tampa and I want you guys and I want y'all's, because I know you guys, I'm
Mhm.
familiar with you guys. I want y'all working on my mom's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you still
can
do
do
that?
that.
You just
Mhm.
can't take if somebody randomly calls. You can't
Yeah.
take that.
Yeah,
Yep.
we
Okay.
can't go market in those areas
Right.
essentially from a franchise standpoint.
Understood.
But there's always situations like that come up, and
hmm
when those are direct referral sources and connections, we can definitely help out.
Awesome.
hmm
Where can listeners reach DRYmedic of Lakewood Ranch if they need help fast? So
Yeah, they can go to our website or just drymedic.com and reach out. Our phone number's on there, and they can also reach us on our social channels as well.
what's your phone number?
941-203-4523.
Are you guys on social media as well?
We are
Facebook, Instagram, all the things.
Facebook,
Mhm.
Instagram, all the things. Yeah,
All right, perfect.
yeah,
And we are available 24/7.
yes.
Perfect. And if you have a roof inspection or any kind of roof issues, you can reach out to us at Blue Collar Roofing, 941-933-ROOF.